Do you know what these are? If you're from Ohio, you should know. If not, let's look at these together. Sometimes you get two, sometimes you get three. So far, these are little ones, just getting one. Ooh, that's a huge one. So the Buckeye for the great state of Ohio. And the trees are just filled with these guys, so hopefully it doesn't indicate we're going to have a bad winter. Hey everyone, welcome back to Homegrown Passion. Today's video, I'm going to show us starting some tomato plants and some pepper plants from seed. So I got my trays out, my rapid rooters, and all my different seeds here. So we'll go over our procedures and how we get this done. So if you remember last video, I had to order some of my rapid rooters that I like to use because I had ran out. So got them in, so I'm ready to get started here on the seeding of the pepper plants and the tomato plants. So I have my rapid rooters, I have my trays that I use, and I also have my bottom trays. Now I know these are dome covers for when you are seeding stuff and before they're transplanted, but these are really heavy duty and they make a much better bottom tray than the other black plastic ones that I've used in the past, because I've had these guys I think for 4 or 5 years now and they've held up really well. So I'm going to get started here and open up my rapid rooters. And I want you guys all to remember, because I made the mistake the first year I did this, is I got a couple staples here. I went ahead and ripped the bag open. Well, you don't want to do that because it is a Ziploc type bag, so you can keep these guys nice and moist for a while. So make sure you open them the correct way and just start putting them into your trays here. So for each one of these trays, one's going to be peppers, one's going to be tomatoes. I have to put 40 of these plugs in because each line has 20 beetle buckets, and I like to put 2 plants in each beetle bucket. So let me go ahead and get these guys counted out. I don't know if you guys remember last year when I was doing this, I put 50 in here and I had one left over in the rapid rooter. It's like, oh boy, I got an extra one. So let me get these done. I may do a couple extra plants just in case somebody doesn't germinate, because nothing worse than having empty grow space in your greenhouse when you can have it up in the production. So these trays each hold 50, so I got 40 in here, so I'm going to put 42. And again, the reason that I use the rapid rooters for the tomato and pepper plants is because those seeds are so expensive. I mean, they do germinate in the Oasis cubes, but they do way better in these rapid rooters. They have a better germination rate, and once you put them into the beetle buckets, it holds the water really good until the plant gets big enough that the roots are all around. When the emitter drops the water in there, it's able to get it all, so at least the rapid rooter keeps it moist. As I'm putting the rapid rooters into the trays here, I wanted to mention that these guys are tapered. So the tapered end goes to the bottom, and then there is a little hole for the seed to hold on the top. So you want to make sure you get these guys in here the right way. So here are the bell pepper seeds. As you can see, they're not quite as small as the tomatoes, but I still like to use my tweezers to pick them up and put them into the rapid rooter. It makes it a little bit easier for me. I'm doing 3 colors here. I'm doing red, orange, and yellow. It makes a really pretty combination. So I'm going to go ahead and get these guys seeded in here. And since I'm doing 20 buckets, I'm going to probably do like 13 or 14 of each one of the colors. So remember, pepper plants take forever to germinate, so don't get discouraged if you don't see them germinating after a week or so. And I've had them where 5 or 6 of them have germinated, and then a week later the rest of them germinate. You just never know what they're going to do. So just keep them all in the tray here and keep them bottom watered, and you should have good results. And the reason that I use the tweezers also is I can push the seed down into the hole a little bit. So now I'm ready to do my tomato plants. I do have a couple different packets, so I'm making sure I use the oldest one first. We've always used Rebelski, which is a hydroponic tomato that's kind of like an heirloom. It has a really nice shiny skin on it, and it holds up really well for transport and at the market, and it's a really good slicer. So these guys are even smaller seeds than the pepper plants, and a lot more expensive. I think they're almost like $1 a seed. So I'm very, very careful with these guys, trying to get them in here. So the first year that we did hydroponic tomatoes, we used a cultivar called Trust. That was a tried and true type for the beetle bucket production. And I was going through the Johnny Seed catalog the year after we put the greenhouse up, and I saw that they had this new one, Rebelski, and it had a really nice heirloom look to it, and a really nice skin, shiny and stuff, so we thought we'd try it, and we've been using it ever since. Okay, since I have everybody seated here, the tomato plants and the pepper plants, and I have the labels on them, I'm going to go ahead and bottom water these. You don't need to top water them, because if you do, the seeds usually float out of them. And with the rapid rooters, they're already pre-moistened, so you don't have to worry about getting a ton of water in there. You just want to make sure the bottoms sit in some water and kind of wick it up slowly so you don't have them too moist. And I'm using my nutrient water because I wanted pH corrected water. It's about 6.0, and that's good for germination for the peppers and the tomatoes. And the reason I'm doing here in the cells, I'm dripping on the thing here, is I have some empty cells here, and it's just a little bit easier to get the water into the bottom of the tray. Okay, everybody's bottom watered now. Now I'm ready to put the covers on them. You want to keep them in the dark so they germinate well. I put these trays into my control tunnel because it's pretty even heat in there. It's a little bit warmer than the head house, and it doesn't fluctuate as much as the greenhouse, so I get a better germination. I used to use heat mats for them to put them on, but I've heard so many horror stories of them catching on fire, melting stuff, and I'm just really worried about using those. So, I mean, if you want to use them, just keep an eye on them, but for me, I prefer to keep my little control tunnel there with the moderate heat.